Sometimes when we have difficulty experiencing God's presence and he feels distant, it isn't because he actually is, but it's because we're filtering our relationship with him through the relationships that we've had with people in our history and in our present. Important people teach us how to have relationship, and that filters into how we have a relationship with God. And if we've learned from those relationships that it's not safe to have needs, or that my vulnerability isn't safe, or I can't expect them to live up to their word, or if I've learned that it's, their needs come first, then I'm going to project that into my relationship with God. And it's going to make it uncomfortable to be close to him. Now, some of the ways that we have possibly projected the human relationships into our relationship with him might be from having, our belief that he's a demanding God and that our imperfections are shameful, and that if I come near him, I have to do a bunch of apologizing first in order to clean up who I am, who I think I am, or what I think is I've done wrong or haven't done enough right. And so I come into his presence with a bag full of apologies. And before we can even start the connection, I've got this long list of things that have to be unloaded first. If my grandchildren, every time they came to me, were apologizing for things that they did wrong and couldn't be comfortable being with me because of how they were perceiving themselves, it would break my heart. I would be so sad to see that struggle that they were having. I just want them to be with me, and together we can be guided by the Lord in how to grow and how to be transformed. But if we're trying to do that first, then it causes a hindrance. Number 2 is if we believe he's unstable. If we've had, especially parents who are unpredictable, or a spouse who's unpredictable, and oh no, they're going to be home, and which version of them am I going to have? And walking on eggshells to make sure that everything is right, and how do I need to posture myself around them so that things are safe. And if that's our experience, then we're going to project that into our relationship with the Lord. And he's not unpredictable. He's stable. He's the same yesterday, today, and forever. He's a rock. So we don't have to read him in order to find out that we're okay. Number 3 would be insignificance. If I've learned that my needs don't matter and I'm unseen, unheard, and that it's right to be unseen or unheard, then I'm going to have a hard time coming to him and feeling that it's okay to bring my full self. If we've learned there's this part of me on the inside that I have to hide, keep hidden, because if people really knew who I was, they wouldn't want me, they would reject me. And if we bring that into our relationship with the Father, then that's a part of our heart that doesn't get to experience his love and his healing and redemption of those things. And so if we're hiding parts of ourselves, then that part of ourself has a barrier that we've created, keeping him from coming in, because he isn't going to force himself on us. People will force themselves. They'll force love. They'll force their needs. They'll come in forcefully to try to get what they want, because humans are self-focused more than external focused for the most part. But God's not that way. He doesn't judge us according to the weakness that's inside of us. He already knows it's there, and he loves every part of us, and he wants that part of us to feel safe with him and to invite him in to be known fully. And that part of us that we've kept hidden is missing out on love from him, and so that creates a barrier. Number 4 is when people use me, that I'm only good for how I can serve or how I can show up or what I can give. And it's a one-sided relationship where I do all the giving and they do all the receiving. And sometimes it's self-inflicted, like I've determined that I'm just going to be the one to give, and then there's no risk because, you might not do what I need you to do. So, but if I can feel powerful by being the one who gives, and then um, I don't have to risk. And so when we bring that into our relationship with the Lord and we're like, no, it's all about you, Jesus, and it should be. I'm not saying that he isn't the priority and that we don't exalt him above everything else, but if we're saying, God, I don't have any needs, then, and we create a one-sided dynamic with him, then we're not going to get to experience his sacrificial love that gives and that isn't earned and that isn't transactional. To be able to experience his love coming towards us is a powerful experience. And to take off the self-inflicted rules that we've created that creates a dynamic of distance or perceived distance because he's right here. Then the big one that I think most of us have had some experience with is disappointment. When we have experienced people who don't follow through on what they've promised or don't live up to what we've expected from them or fail us in some way, then we will kind of have a lens of disappointment. And so if I don't expect anything, then I won't be disappointed. That's how we protect ourselves with disappointment, is I'm just expecting disappointment, so therefore I can't be disappointed. And then you are always experiencing disappointment because it's the lens you're seeing through. When we've not seen the faithfulness of humans, then it's easier to project how, our circumstances aren't being controlled by God the way that we think they should be, or why are all these bad things happening to me, comes through that filter of disappointment. And through the failings of people and the lies that we've believed in their failing. And so then we project that onto our relationship with him, and we see him through that lens of disappointment. And removing that lens and realizing that God is faithful and true, and what he's promised he will deliver. Now, he might not deliver on our self-created expectations of him based on, needs-based instead of relationship-based. Then it will seem like he's disappointed, but what's actually been disappointed is my demands aren't met. And the more we have relationship with him, the more we experience a one-on-one connection to where we know him, we know his heart for us, and that his heart isn't to withhold, his heart isn't to wound, his heart isn't to hurt, and his heart isn't selfish. He wants to give and to protect, and that he is faithful. And so when it appears like he's not living up to who he says he is, I've learned to bring that to him and say, okay, I'm probably seeing through a filter of deception here, God, and I invite you into this disappointment, and I ask that you would reveal to me what needs to be seen here, not according to my demands, but because of a higher truth that I need to get up here. And he doesn't always tell us everything that we want to know. Sometimes that would be burdensome to know the level of information that he has. And so he'll withhold some things. But when you know that you're deeply loved and treasured by him, and that you know that his heart is to love you and to be sacrificial, then it's easier to say, oh, I know I'm seeing through a lens. I know I'm seeing through my humanistic perceptions of through disappointment, and I want you to open my eyes so that I can see what I need to see here so that I can get to where you are. And it's transformative. And sometimes you have to live in mystery there, but the anchoring in knowing that our connection is good helps you get through the mystery together and to let go of what you need to let go of so that you can have hope. So, how do we get free from these things? Well, we need to say, Father, let's do that together right now. Father, what lies am I believing about you based on my human relationships and how I've experienced them? And now say, Father, I renounce projecting so-and-so onto you. Father, show me who you really are. Open my eyes and help me to see clearly. Open my mind so that I can understand. And teach my heart to let go of the barriers that I've created to protect it. And I ask that you would bring a deep and new revelation, a deeper revelation of who you are and who you want to be in my life. And give me the courage to come to you with things I don't understand and aren't quite believing about myself yet and aren't quite there with who I need to believe you to be. Lord, this is where I'm at, and I invite you here to walk me to there. Now, if this is meaningful to you, then leave a comment. Share it with others that you think would benefit from this. I also have a companion blog which goes into more depth, and that, I'm the kind of person that I need to hash things out. I learn audibly, but I also learn visually, and so I need a visual to kind of walk myself through, and that blog will have even more things that you can activate and exercises you can do in order to achieve the freedom and connection with the Father. And you can find that on my website, breakthrough4u.com, breakthrough, the number 4, the word u.com. You'll also find a link in the description and a link to that blog specifically. And then I also on my website have a download of 10 blockages to hearing God's voice. And so it breaks down ways to hear God's voice, but also blockages besides relationships that get in the way that can help you find that deep connection that He wants with you. And it's if you can purchase that under the downloads section, and I'll also leave a link for you in the description. But if you'd like to get it for free, then go on my website and become a subscriber to my emails, and I'll send you a code so that you can get that download for free. So Father, I pray for this person watching this video right now. I thank you for their heart to know you more and to break down whatever barriers are in the way. I thank you right now for breaking the mindsets and bringing freedom to this person so that they can separate the humans that they've experienced in life with who you really are. We just break that in Jesus' name. I thank you for encountering them powerfully right now where they sit in this room. Amen.